and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. Happy 8th of December, everybody. It's flying. So yeah, we are working on square 8 today, which is up here. But first, I did receive a little bit of post today, or mail. It has addresses all over it, so I am just going to grab it from here. The customs label did just tell me one Christmas gift, and it is from Canada. So I thought, let's have a little open up on here. Oh, we have a diamond painted Christmas card. Love it. Cute little penguin. So it just says, Rebecca, looking very much forward to December Advent and excited to open my 12-day calendar. Enclosed are a couple of small gifts as a token of thanks to you for all that you do for us. Aww. She says, wishing you, Will, Megan, Caris, Lewis, Catherine, and of course Luna, a very Merry Christmas. Have a safe and fabulous trip to Australia for the new year. Look forward to hearing your travel tales when you return. And that's from Janet. Thank you so much, Janet. I'm going to pop up what is our first Christmas card. They seem to have waned off a little bit, Christmas cards. So now I feel like the few we do get a bit more of a prime position. Oh, and it is a diamond painting kit for a little birthday card, which I will be sure to do. This will be a good one to take with me as well, actually, because it's quite light and it's quite flat. And, ooh, what is in here? Oh, it's pen-shaped. It's pen-shaped. Am I allowed to open this now? Should I be waiting? Nah. I probably should be, but I'm not going to. Ooh. We have a pretty blue pen. And then, if I can get in it. Oh, a gorgeous little angel. This is a double-sided, so I can bob that on my tree. Thank you ever so much, Janet. That is amazing. Let's use the pen from Janet today. That's what we'll do. My tray and stuff are off to the side, so I will save what was going to be today's pen until tomorrow. And yes, we'll use this gorgeous pen from Janet. Let me pop those two over there. So let's grab a glue dot. I have a couple of boxes of glue dots that have been attacked when Luna was a pup. She managed to get hold of a couple of boxes of glue dots. So I seem to have extras to what I actually need. But hey, I have lots of pens, so I will eventually go through a full box of 300 glue dots, maybe. Time will tell. So I'm just going to squeeze in the glue dot as much as I can. I don't think this one's popping out too much, actually. I might just be able to get away with straight using this one. Woo, exciting. Okay, let me get the sheets off from the 8th. Do I have to do any shuffling? I do have to do a little bit, mainly on the 16th, but that's because of the square the other side. So that definitely needs a shuffle. Little nudge over. Little nudge of the 17th just to free up that one, and actually just a little scoot down of the 23rd. Just to give breathing room. Oh, and I did that too much. There we go. Let's give myself a little bit of breathing room for that one. Tray for today, I am using the hot pink tray that is due to launch tomorrow. So this launches with our new product launch for December. don't even know what month I'm in. New product launch for December. We have this pink tray, which is in the Zesty size, so it's a little bit smaller than the others. Oh, that reminds me, somebody did ask, and I did spot the comment before it became too late, to see the difference between our Add More Zest pouch and the new tool pouches. So these are the size difference, if you can see. I will pop the measurements on the website. So yes, it is slightly smaller. This one will fit the likes of a logbook, and it is quite a soft material, this one. So it's quite flexible for the logbook. This one, while it is still it's stiffer, it is slightly stiffer, this one, and it does have the lip on the top, which means you still get ample storage for things like a Zesty tray, or even an Add More Zest tray will fit in it, but it does make it feel a little bit smaller than this one. So this one will fit A5, this one won't. The actual measurements, what were they? Something by 14, I think. 21 by just short of 14, probably a little bit closer to 13.5 centimetres for these pouches. I have been able to get more of the purple and the blue due to the wait lists. I've got more of those, however they were out of stock of the pink. So yeah, I do have more of those ready for launch to avoid disappointment. Okay, that's all the other stuff out the way. Give all you guys a head start on your painting if you were diamond painting already. And it's quite a busy one, this one, so it may or may not take a little bit longer. This is one of the boxes that may be a little bit harder for me to reach with having it flat, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to start with my good old question mark symbol. I need to pull up my comments and things. Oh, the computer always asks for my password to be put in rather than to just use my fingerprint to get in when it's the most inconvenient. Just to be sure. When it's the most inconvenient, that's when it'll do it. But to your comments and questions, Kerry, she says she's trying to finish her non-Christmassy kit. She's got just 2 sections to go. She's going to try and do 2 days on her Advent tomorrow and get caught up. It's like finishing a little project before you start another one. I get that. I must admit I do like to do that too. Nancy, she says day 4 is done. She said she didn't keep up with me today, but that's okay. She said her new Dreamer Designs kits arrived this morning, so she is thinking of kitting up the Christmas one she ordered to go along with her Advent. She said she hasn't decided, as there's always a lot to do at this time of year. She said, have a good weekend. Cheers from Ontario, Canada. Another Canada comment. I'm trying to work out if I've not moved this one far enough along. Seems to be getting a little bit closer the further up I get. So let me just give myself a little bit more breathing room on that one. That's the only thing with the cover papers. I end up needing to do a little bit of a shuffle. And I'm going to use my multi-placer while it's got no wax in it yet, just to nudge them that little bit over. That makes me a little bit happier. But they're closer to the line. They're on the circle. I just think they need to be over ever so slightly. Also giving you guys time to get your diamond painting done. And hopefully we can all finish together, or close to together, for today. My Dreamers designs are still on their way. I couldn't find any email notification that they'd been dispatched in my junk or spam or anything, anywhere. But I did check my account. They've actually said they've been out for delivery since the 4th. But it also gives me an estimated delivery of within the next few days. So I think the tracking that they've provided me with for the UK is their sort of logistics company. And when it says out for delivery, I think it basically means they've handed it to their other courier. And therefore it's just going to stay in that status until the courier tells them that it's been delivered. That's my guess anyway, because it's got an estimated delivery of not for a few days, but it says it's been out for delivery for 4 days now. Who knows? I have no idea which courier will deliver it. So I also have no idea of when to expect it, because it doesn't tell me. It just says that it's been handed over. So we shall see. As long as it's not Yodel, we'll be good. That's the only one that is not that good in our area, is Yodel. All the others, even Every, sorry, I'm just taking my cardigan off. I put a cardigan lasts me days because I am constantly putting it on and off. Yeah, Every is really good in this area. I've never had any problems with them. Yodel, they tend to just like to dump the parcel wherever. Sometimes they'll tell us by ringing or knocking on the door. Sometimes they don't. We just find it. So yeah, very entertaining. Very entertaining when it comes to a Yodel delivery, but hey ho. KS, she says she was so surprised on day 1. She says when I finished and she wasn't even halfway through. She says she is doing a square, but she's using a multi-placer. She says she's realised that the square is 3 rows taller and presumably 3 rows wider too. She said so still, she said she listened to the day 1. She said she re-listened and then she listened to day 24 of Zesty Wolf before she finished. She said the black drills, she used a pill crusher to sort of separate the black drills, and she found that worked well. But she did say 310 is her Achilles heel, and she has major trouble seeing them well enough to place them. So she used the checkerboard method to get them to be able to sit right. So that's where you do every other square and then fill in the gaps in the middle. So you concentrate a little bit more while you do every other square, and then you can just slot all the diamonds in the gaps afterwards, and it's often quicker. It's often a lot quicker. She says she's really enjoying this advent and having this bit of time, she says, to look forward to each day. Although she did Monday already. She says it is her day to be in the office, and she will likely come home and just crawl into bed. She did have an interesting idea. She said we could adhere our advent squares to cover paper and use them for next year's cover sheets. That could be one way to do it. Use your advent calendar as a future advent cover up, which would work well if it's the same size. we will have to see what next year brings. Shelley, she says hi. She says this is her first year participating in the Advent. She says she's doing it together with her mum. She's doing squares. No, so Shelley is doing squares and her mum is doing rounds. She says because when ordering she couldn't decide which one she wanted to do. So she asked her mum if she wanted to do it with her and then let her mum decide. Greetings from the Netherlands. I like it. Both my mum and I are doing this painting, albeit opposite sides of the world. But my mum is doing square. And of course I'm doing round. So we've sort of mixed it up a little bit too. Get my darker ones all lined up. Laura, she said, get in. She says she's doing the square Advent. She said, and she beat me. She said it really helps listening to the adverts. So she's managed to beat me doing a square by listening to the adverts when they play. Adverts. Too many similar words. She says now she is going to go and start on day 4. So she commented on day 3, but she did it when day 4's video was already up. Playing catch up. I like your style though. Listen to those adverts, it all helps. Christine said she was amused by the white drill on day 4. She said it popped out of the tray when you shook it, she said, and she was waiting for me to find it. She says, as for cutting the plastic cover sheet, she said what she's been doing is using one of the ceramic cutting pens. She sectioned off her painting with washi tape, and she cut through the washi tape and the plastic cover each day. She said it hasn't affected the painting as far as she can see. Yeah, I think I initially started to do cutting the top cover paper. I think I should have put washi on it before I even thought about cutting it. I may have had a hope of successfully cutting it if I'd have put washi tape on first. However, as much as the cover paper and cutting them down to size definitely took more time, is more of a project, and of course leaves me with cover paper cut to different sizes. I do like the fact that the painting is only getting revealed as each one is done, even though I've seen it all already. There is something special about each section getting done and the painting coming to life as that happens. So it's one of those, isn't it? There are pluses and minuses to both, and you just have to go with which one suits you. Right, that's my border done, but I do have my shading for my trees to do as well. It's using, of course, a certain amount of colours on this one. In fact, this one's using quite a lot of the different colours. We've got 2 different ABs in this one. Lots of the yellow, lots of the blue, and the black and white. So my brain is racing ahead as to which way I'm going to complete this. I think I'm going to do the background. So I'm going to do the white, and then I'm going to do the black, and then I'm going to fill in the trees. Because I think that will be the prettiest reveal for this one. Though I do love the way when you put the black on over the symbol, the way the black goes. I just dropped a diamond then when tipping these into my stopper. So let's go for some white. And then we'll go for the contrasting black. Cher loves orange. She says day 4 done and dusted. She said December is magical. She says she has the Admore Zest 12-day Advent, and her daughter has filled in for her the other 12. She said so she's alternating them. She said she told her husband not to buy her anything because she's getting a present a day, she said, and that is amazing. She says update on the family. She says Argyle, her grandson, is out of the hospital and is slowly improving. He has lost over 9 pounds. He will be 6 on December the 8th, and she said he weighs 39 pounds. But yesterday he moved more and acted more like himself. We'll be watching him until Christmas break, since he won't be going back to school until after the new year. She said Angus and Argyle are reunited, she said, and that's what makes us all happy. And I'm sure that will help both of them. It will help Argyle to recover, to be around his brother. And of course it will help Angus because, you know, he wasn't the one that was ill, but he was still the one that was affected as well. She said, my mother is improving in her strength. She said her dementia has progressed rapidly throughout the last month. So she's a bit lost all of the time. She says, but we visit daily and make her laugh and smile. She said, thank you for this advent calendar and diamond painting. She says, and the daily whip and waffles. She says, it brings me a lot of joy. Sounds like it is a very busy / stressful / enjoyable at the same at points time or December for you. But yeah, wishing you all the best, and just enjoy the family time as well as the me time, because they are both important. That's for sure. Oh, love it. Just a little silhouette of the trees. Jess, she says she decided to challenge herself to try and finish her square before the video ended today. She said she did it 35 minutes flat. She said the magic of multi-placing. So day 4, which was the reindeer, while we had a lot of colour changes and things, maybe that helped. I don't know. I think a lot of the time is spent tipping diamonds in and out of trays. So if you've already got all your diamonds in trays ready, that probably helps even more. But I'm glad some people are enjoying the little challenge. And hopefully today's present opening and waffling before we started gave you a good head start. Good head start on it. Kaylia, she said on Amazon, she said there are pens with wax as the tip. She says, and they're really handy and nice for AB diamonds, along with special gems. She says, plus the pen tips can be changed. Okay, I seem to have had my camera reach its point at its saving point at some time then. I cannot get my words out today. I always have these technical difficulties when I am doing Advents or June waffles. I think they're just sent to test me. So I don't know what was missed. All I know is my camera turned off, which means it had stopped recording and had a minute or two. So maybe I've claimed a minute or two back in the diamond painting time frame journey, but I am working on the black. I will read out the last comment again just in case, but Tammy says she's just found the Advent videos. She said so she's not had time to order and join in, but she is enjoying listening to them each day. And she's excited to see what it is that I'm going to paint each day. She's diamond painting along, she says, while she's doing Upon the Night by Dreamers Designs for the Jingle Drills event. Well, to me that classes as joining in on our December Advent as well, Tammy. The idea is that you have a bit of me time each day throughout December. Many people pick one painting and divide it into 24 sections, but you don't have to. So you can class working on your painting as joining in. Deborah says she may need to put a red nose on the reindeer on day 4. Crystal did say that she did put a red nose on the reindeer and she said she loves it. So you can always add your own little splash of individuality to your own Advent calendar. Kay says the Advent calendar is coming on and she absolutely loves the colours together. Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's not your traditional Advent calendar, but I think it's fun. And I'm just enjoying doing it, to be honest. I'm just enjoying taking part in doing it. Trying to get those last couple of diamonds to lie flat. There we go. And then I can work on using all the ones up in my tray before I tip any more in. That one's a bit of a fat diamond. Peaches and Diamonds, she said, so today while she was cutting the plastic cover on her kit, she said she couldn't find her pen cutter, so she decided to use a standard craft knife. She says, well, she screwed up and she cut straight through the canvas. She said, I've done that before. I can't remember what painting it was on, but I know I have cut through. I think it was an edge though, rather than the middle, but I've definitely done that before. She said, so after freaking out, she said for about 20 minutes, she put clear tape along the back of the canvas to tape it together. And then she used some double-sided tape on the front, so she would have something to stick to. She said, so thankfully, crisis has been averted and we're back on track, she said, and thankfully you couldn't even tell. Just need to be very careful, she says, and now she has found her pen cutter again and she's been on Amazon and ordered a backup so that she doesn't do it again. Kathy has said she doesn't go on Facebook, but she said she was hoping that, you know, she could reply on here to Peaches and Diamonds. She did the same thing on one of her canvases that was about 80% complete. She said she thought it was ruined, so she is going to do the same as Peaches and Diamonds did, to fix hers and then carry on. And this is why I love the comments, the chatting, all the rest of it. It's a chance for us all to pass on tips, tricks, information, you know, for when things go wrong, and also things to make it nicer when they go right. You know, just things to make the process a little bit more enjoyable. I think it's fun. And I love these. I love these chatty whip and chats. Denise, she says, there seems to be a certain shape involved in the advent calendar. She said, so it's probably for the best that she didn't pick it up. She says, as she might end up with items she wouldn't have a use for, that she'd normally want to use. She said, as such, would it be possible for you to try and do both shapes, she said, the way you did for the advent calendar this year? So people who prefer one shape over another can get something they'll be more likely to use if you use shape specific products. I think I'm a little bit lost, I think, in relation to what that is. Is that in relation to the advent calendar, i.e. the 12-day or the 24, compared to the diamond paintings, which we did offer in around Aura Square this month? If it is, there is only one item. I'm pretty sure there is only one item in the whole 24-day advent calendar that you could say is shape specific. So on that basis, I don't think it would be practical to offer two different ones. But I'm sure the item in question, if that is what it is, the item in question could be something that you could gift to somebody or potentially swap for something else. She's also said maybe you could do a pre-order a month or two in advance. She says, plus create extra stock for those who don't like pre-orders. She said to save yourself scrambling on launch day. She says that way if you can get your hands on the majority of the stock, if sales are more than projected, you might end up with enough time, she says, to either order more or find suitable replacements. Yeah, there's lots of things that we have taken from the advent calendar this year and how things went. We will definitely be changing things up next year. We will also definitely be over ordering rather than under ordering, on the basis that, you know, we could always potentially sell items separately in the future. So yeah, it's one of those. The advent calendar was a brand new thing. There's not been many diamond painting advent calendars about in general since diamond painting became a hobby, and yeah, it was a lot more popular than we ever expected. And you know, there was another company who did a 12 days of Christmas, and they too sold out in record time. So it's not just the small companies that can't always get the numbers right. It can be the big companies too. However, with the smaller companies, that can have more of a dramatic impact if they get it wrong the other way, i.e. by over ordering. It can impact a small company a lot more than it can impact a big one. But yeah, everything is a learning curve, and we'll always be taking steps to make things better and better, as with everything. As with our limited trays, increasing stock, increasing production to go with demand. That's always something that we've done. We always take feedback on board. We can't always implement everything depending on logistics, but it's definitely always on board. In fact, we're actually getting to the point that some things for Advent may potentially be ordered as early as January of 2023. and a lot more things will actually be ordered and prepared early on in the year. It's one of those we have to tie between what is now and what is current and planning for the future. It's like a constant little conveyor belt. You have a few slow moving conveyor belts that is all your forward planning until things come to the end, and then you have your quicker moving, more current conveyor belts, and it's trying to keep them all on the go. But yeah, we'll definitely be looking at meeting demand. Now we have an idea of what that demand may be for next year, to ensure that everybody can get an Advent if they want one. Lisa, she says she's having so much fun with this event. She says she's doing the square version of the Advent calendar diamond painting. She said, and thankfully she's not having problems with any of the drills, she says, including the black. Okay, so it may be that it was just a batch of the black drills from maybe our first or our second order. I don't know which way round it would be. Not without going and looking into people's orders and seeing when people ordered, whether it was pre-order or initial order, initial stock, as to whether that made a difference. But maybe the speed that they were getting them together for us for our second release may have made a difference. She says, as a matter of fact, she has only had 2 trash drills so far, and she is really loving how the square drills fit together. She says she's doing day 4 as she listens to this, and she got a day behind on the videos. So she's finished watching day 3 and she's now off to watch day 4. Now that'll help you to finish your square all in one. Peaches and Diamonds said she would love to be able to get Zesty Wolf from last year's Advent. She says she does live in the US, so maybe she'll see what she can find at the Container Store or Staples. So Zesty Wolf, we may do, I think I mentioned the other day, we may do a reprint of that one. We will have a look because that one's exclusive to us. In relation to having a look at the Container Store or Staples, I think that might be in relation to the tray holder that we get from a UK store. Our little sort of, I think it's sold as like a makeup brush holder type thing. I think often with storage you have to look at what they're advertising it for, but think of how it can work, with things that you may need to store. Because quite often I don't use storage necessarily for the things they are intended for. Forever mixing it up. Lisa, she says, this may seem like a silly question, she says, but what is reindeer dust? Reindeer dust, it's often something that is sold at craft fairs, or in the UK it's often, or it's always been sold since my kids were little, at the primary school's Christmas fair. But quite often it is some form of oats, normally. I wouldn't say porridge oats, but yeah, some form of oats with a little bit of glitter or like tinsel strips that you put out on the grass or on your lawn or in your garden, so the reindeers know where to land. And it's been called reindeer dust. So yeah, just grab yourself some oats, grab yourself a little bit of glitter for sparkle, and it gets spread around the garden, and I'm sure the birds enjoy eating it. You could pop bird seed in, anything like that. It's just something that the kids can sprinkle on the grass so the reindeers know where to land to make sure that your house is not missed. It's fun. It's normally like 50p a bag, or it has been at Christmas fairs when my kids were younger. So 50p a bag, and the kids go out Christmas Eve night and it's all dark, and they sprinkle it all around the garden so the reindeers can land and deliver the presents, or stamp the presents, as gets done in our house. Presents go under the tree, but Santa stamps them before they're allowed to be opened. And then the tag will tell you who they're off and who they're to. Oh, we fill stockings as well though. Lisa also says she has the Diamond Art Club 12-day advent calendar. She said, and she's not actually even unboxed it yet. So the temptation isn't quite there as strong. She says she's decided she is going to start opening them on December the 13th, so that the last day is December the 24th, as the 25th is just going to be too busy. Yeah, you have other presents on the 25th. I think most advent calendars, bar this diamond painted one, I actually prefer them when they finish on day 24. Because I know the children have had the odd calendar that has finished on the 25th. And to be honest, more often than not, they forget that they have another door in their advent calendar until the 26th anyway. Because they're just too busy Christmas morning with, you know, the presents and the Christmas dinner and everything else that comes with Christmas Day. It's just too busy. So yeah, anytime they have had an advent that is day 25 or goes up to 25, it's often opened on the 26th instead. Crystal, she says she thinks she loves the advent painting because it feels like her Paint Gem minis. She has been burned out on large diamond paintings lately, and this calendar, she said, is perfect for her right now. She says thank you. She says she's also done with her Christmas shopping, and she would also like to know what reindeer dust is. Well, hopefully my prior explanation of reindeer dust helps you all. And if you've got any young children in your family, it's quite an easy thing to make up and just bring that extra little bit of cheer. You could make it yourself. It's just it's always been something we have picked up from the primary school fair. It's just been a way to, you know, help support the schools and pick up the reindeer dust. And we just continue to do it. We just continue to pick it up from schools rather than make our own. And every year we have some, the kids love putting it out. Even though the eldest is now 26 and the youngest is 18, they still do it. Right, got my little tree stalks in. Look how much of a difference the black makes though. Right, I want the slash. Let's do some blue. Now I'm going back to working up in colour order. April, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, this is my first time commenting. She says, and she loves my channel and my English sense of humour. She said, what in the world is a conservatory? She said she lives in Oregon in the US. I'm not sure what it is called in the US, if it's called a sunroom, an orangery, but it is an extra room on the house in the fact it does have a foundation. It's added to the back of the house, but the walls of it, because of course we build pretty much most UK houses are brick built. The brick only comes up to sort of couch height, back of the couch height, and then the rest is windows. We do have one solid wall, which is the wall that is next to our neighbours. But then the windows and the roof are all glass and like PVC frames. So I'm not sure what you would call that in the US. I know we've had this discussion before and I'm sure somebody told me. But it is an addition to the house that is letting loads of light. I absolutely love it. I think even if we had an indoor room as, you know, another lounge, I would potentially go in there in the evening, you know, get a little bit toasty, sat on the couch under a blanket, but I would still spend my days in the conservatory because the light is absolutely amazing, especially if you're in the UK and it starts going dark at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock it starts going dark, 4, half 4, yeah, it's dark. It's dark already. So, and that's even in our lightest room in the house. So yeah, that is a conservatory. And I absolutely love ours. And we always knew we should have done one years ago to create the space. And yeah, I'm forever in the conservatory. Summer, winter, it can get warm in summer, it can get a bit cold in winter, but we found ours has been really good compared to what it can be with having a glass roof. We do have a little portable heater, a little oil filled radiator heater that does really well at keeping us warm in there, plus the 3D printers are on, so they warm the room in themselves. And come the summer we have got like a protection on the glass of the roof that helps redirect the sun so it doesn't get too hot. But at least we can always open the door in summer. Kathy, she says, the Santa and gold suit, she said, story is so funny and creative. She said she was trying to find it in the YouTube comments, so I heard it that time. I heard it stop. It just does one little beep. Sorry, Kathy said she was trying to find it in the YouTube comments so she could reread it. She said, but she couldn't find it. She said, thank you for the lady that wrote it. It's in day 1, Kathy. Day 1 of the Advent is where you will find the Santa story, which I too have reread, because I think it was amazing. And I don't think that one came through on email either. So when I was reading it absolutely, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Have a little baby round diamond there. Sorry, you're a bit too small. Come back when you've grown up and you're the wrong colour. So look after baby diamond. Linda, she says, today she was taking the eldest grandson out shopping for Christmas gifts. She says for him to give to others. She says that was after a specialist appointment. So it was at a major shopping centre, she said, that we rarely go to. She says those large centres are exhausting. I agree. She says, but at least she got her week's exercise in and she doesn't have to worry about getting out the chair again. She says their Christmas traditions are a glass of milk and biscuits for Santa and some hay for the reindeer. She said when she was a child they went out carolling on Christmas Eve. And down the street, she says one of the ways that our community came together. She says as teenagers we used to go into our local nursing homes. Oh, I just tipped my diamonds out and I had 2 rogue ones that didn't want to go where they're supposed to. Did they both go in then? I'm going for a yes. She says as teenagers we used to go into our local nursing homes and visit local elderly people and sing carols for them. She said caroling was always a special thing for me at this time of year. I love the fact that many of us can have the same traditions but also different traditions, but also different memories associated with the same traditions, and different things that make it special. Makes it so much fun. Upton Melts, she says one of the older memories that they have is that they all got all the toys that they wanted, but somebody forgot the batteries and nothing worked. She said all the shops in the 90s closed for a few days. And it was so funny trying to raid batteries out of all the household goods. I feel that pain. We used to go, the only place we could ever find batteries was the petrol station. We did have a Christmas where we had to go and hunt batteries at a petrol station. I also worked at a petrol station once when Megan was a lot younger. Okay, I'm going to deviate now. I'm going to do my other yellow colour and then I've just got ABs left. Yeah, I used to work at a petrol station when Megan was a baby. I was blessed I didn't have to work Christmas Day. We were going to be splitting shifts so that everybody would do like half a shift, rather than people having to do full ones. But there were a couple of people that didn't have children and were more than happy to work full shifts. So I didn't have to work on Christmas Day, but I think I did work on Boxing Day or Christmas Eve. I definitely worked Christmas Eve. I may have been in on Christmas Day. And I remember when I came in, it was sort of like, oh, how busy were you? Was it busy? Was it okay? And it was like, yeah, batteries. And that's pretty much what everybody was coming in for, was batteries. For those forgotten toys that need them. And ever since then, and our own battery forgetting fiasco, that is one thing I am always constantly checking for everything that's bought. Does it need batteries? And if in doubt, get a load of batteries anyway. But there was quite a few things when the girls were younger that would take a Type C or a Type D battery, which I don't think many people ever have in the house just in case, because they're hardly ever used, especially now. Jo says she has decided to take her diamond painting with her. So our Advent will be going on a car, plane and a boat ride this year. Woohoo! She said it would be better to have it on hand if she can find some free time. If it's easy enough to pack, then do it. Because as busy as holidays are, you do tend to get that little bit of downtime at some point, even if it's between events. And diamond painting can be the perfect way to switch off for those events. And you'd be gutted if you didn't take it with you. Whereas if you ended up bringing it home, you'd just be like, oh, okay. You know, as long as it's not a pain to move about, then it's just like taking that top that you like that you didn't wear. It's just, oh, okay then. You can go back. I'm on Sparkles, day 4. Nancy says, where is the time going? She said, wow, day 5 is pretty. She says she is looking forward to number 10 that connects it up. Cat Lady, she says she is home with me today. She said she too was thinking about what to do with the painting. She says, but then she thought if she could frame it in a glass fronted frame, then she can use a window sticker. Ooh, I like that idea. She says she has a lot left over from previous Christmases. She thinks she will use a wreath sticker that can be moved from square to square. She says, well, that's the idea at the moment. I like the idea of a window sticker. I was also thinking maybe a wreath or maybe some sort of frame, some sort of chipboard frame maybe that could be made to have the inside the same size as this, or without that top row, like this size, or maybe even doing the 2 rows, so the bigger size. You know, that could be in a different colour, like a bright red or something, that you could move about. And yeah, I like the idea of potentially covering up everything and unveiling it. I'm not sure. The brain's still going. It's still ticking. I'm sure there will be quite a few different things that will potentially come up on the Facebook group that people have done, and I'll probably turn around and go, oh, why didn't I do that? We'll see how it goes. Oh, look, it's filling up. It is filling up. I'm kind of disappointed that it's filling up so much, but I'm also loving that it's filling up. I'm loving the scattering. Oh, we're on day 9 tomorrow. That is one of my favourite squares. One of them. Number 20 is my other. But number 9 is one of my favourite squares. Just due to the detail, though number 8 has a lot as well. So we shall see what number 9 looks like done. Maybe that's when I'll start deciding which is my favourite between each other. I don't know what my favourite is at the moment though, because I love day 1. I really like the way day 1 turned out. Anyway, that's enough waffling for today, because today seems to have been a bit of a different one with camera troubles and not quite knowing what I'm saying. But join me tomorrow. Things may or may not be better while we do a square number 9. And thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much to Janet for my Christmas presents. Oh, I've just, let's see, look. This is the day I'm having. I will bob this in with my pens for use in future Whip and Waffles, and I'm going to go clean up my mess. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.